Hello, Matthew Lasar here. I have a rule about politics. I call it the 90 cubed rule. It goes like this: 90% of everybody forgets 90% of everything in 90 days. I'll give you an example. Next time the next big thing happens, I want you to remember August 30th, 2021, the day that United States forces under President Joe Biden withdrew from Afghanistan. It was a catastrophe, starting with a botched evacuation that included Afghans falling to their deaths from moving airplanes and a deadly suicide bombing that killed 100 Afghan citizens and over a dozen U.S. service members. The Taliban, which the U.S. had been at war with for decades, quickly took back the country. Soon, women and girls lost almost all their political and social rights. Just as bad, Afghanistan once again became a haven for terrorist groups. Next thing you knew, of course, predictions that the Afghanistan debacle would destroy the Biden presidency abounded.
Now, the White House tried to get ahead of the bad press by releasing this photo of Biden in a virtual meeting with top security officials. But all people could talk about was the fact that the clock showed the wrong times for London and Moscow, sparking conspiracy theories that the pic was staged. Come on, people, let's not nitpick. The only clock that matters is the one in Afghanistan, and it's just been reset to the 13th century.
But what happened? In about 3 months, almost everybody forgot about it. Sure, military and foreign policy types and journalists remembered. People directly affected by the tragedy certainly remembered. But in the U.S. midterm elections of 2022, hardly anyone mentioned Afghanistan. Ditto for the presidential election of 2024. It was as if it never happened. Just like for millions of voters, Donald Trump's call for rioters to, quote, fight like hell at the Capitol building on January 6, 2020, never happened. When those Americans went to the ballot box in 2024 and voted for Trump yet again, January 6th was the furthest thing from their minds. In some ways, what we choose to remember about the past is less important than what we choose to forget. And politicians of all stripes have always known this. When plotting the destruction of Poland, Adolf Hitler assured his generals that the brutal invasion would have no repercussions, just like the Armenian genocide of World War I had no meaningful consequences for perpetrators of that terrible crime. Who, after all, speaks today of the annihilation of the Armenians? Hitler infamously said in 1939. After the Second World War, an Italian newspaper urged its readers to just put the global conflict out of their mind. We have the strength to forget, its editorial declared. Forget as soon as possible. Not only do voters often forget as soon as possible, but they often fabricate new versions of the past and their own actions in the past. Pollsters even have a name for this: false recall. For example, sometimes voters become embarrassed when they vote for a party, it wins, and the party fails at governing. Later, they will sometimes tell pollsters that they voted for some other party. In some instances, so many voters tell polling groups this that, according to the data collected, that other party should have won the last election, even though it did not. In one study, pollsters found that 5 years later, 1 out of every 3 voters told them that they voted for a different party than the one they said they voted for 5 years earlier. Why? Embarrassment, disappointment, forgetfulness. Bottom line, we spend a lot of time forgetting the past. That's why I invented the 90 cubed rule. 90% of everybody forgets 90% of everything in 90 days. It's a general observation, not a scientifically proven principle, but I think it's safe to say that most people make their decisions about who to vote for based on events that have taken place in the last 3 months. And that's why predictions about elections made a year or even half a year in advance are usually not worth a whole lot of hot air.